Heart of Midnight is the fourth book in the Ravenloft novel series, written by J. Robert King, published in 1992, at about 313 pages. It details the story of a young boy, or I guess maybe adult, named Kashmir. It takes place in the domain of Cartacus, and it deals with Kashmir growing up, and he's undergoing mental and physical changes. He's an orphan. He seeks revenge on the man who slew his mother, but he doesn't know who his true father is. And the story is about him basically finding his path in the world, getting revenge, finding out who he really is and what he is. Okay, so there are going to be some spoilers here, so let's go ahead and take it. Kashmir is a wolf wearer. He is the bastard son, I guess you can say, of the domain Dark Lord Harkon Lucas. That's not really a surprise because Harkon shows up and he takes interest in Kashmir, and it's very obvious why he takes interest in Kashmir from the get-go. He's the second child of Harkon Lucas, and Harkon Lucas doesn't have really good luck with his children. Kashmir also seeks revenge on the man who supposedly murdered his mother. So the man is basically running for mayor. If you don't know anything about Cartacus, they have basically each town is ruled by a singing mayor. They call them messengers, I believe, if I pronounce that right. And Kashmir is going to enter a contest to defeat the man who he thinks murdered his mother. He also has a friend, Thorn, who's trying to keep him basically a little bit on the good side. I either have two problems with books. I either find the story boring and don't like it, or I find the author's writing style to be very hard for me to read, and it causes me problems. Now, on this rare occasion, I found both to apply to this book. First of all, nothing against J. Robert King, but I did find his writing style hard to read. I don't know why. It's very rare, but his writing style is very hard to read for me, where I have to read several things a couple times. It doesn't flow well for me. I'm not saying he's not a good author, it's just that his writing style did not flow well with me in this book. The second part is the story. Look, Kashmir is your main character. Whether or not you're invested in the story is how much you like Kashmir. Unfortunately, Kashmir, who's supposed to be a sympathetic character, comes in during his angst years. He's already almost an adult. He's already undergoing changes. He's whiny, he's bratty, he's complains, he's bullheaded. There's not much to really like. Had we known Kashmir before he started, I guess, his journey into adulthood, we may have kind of liked him. Unfortunately, we hit him during his worst times. The only other two side characters really of note is Thorn, his friend, who's actually a decent character, and Harkon Lucas. Harkon Lucas shows up from time to time in here to guide Kashmir. And if you know what Harkon Lucas is, you know he's a wolf wearer. But he's a wolf wearer who likes humans. He has an affinity for them. It doesn't let him stop him from killing them or eating them or anything like that. But he prefers actually the company of humans more than he does his fellow wolf wearers, which is weird. His curse, that's kind of his curse. Wolf wearers are supposed to be like solitary, hang with each other, and Harkon likes other races. He likes elves, he likes humans and stuff like that. Like I said, it doesn't stop him from killing you or getting in the way of a good meal, but he just has he's a social guy, and he likes being social. This book tackles him okay. He He shows up from time to time, gets involved. It's fairly obvious why he shows up from time to time. Now, I won't spoil the ending of how the book ends in case anybody wants to read it. However, I did find this book to be very boring. It's very slow paced. The writer's writing style is hard for me, and I just didn't care for much of the characters. I'm sorry. So I would not recommend Heart of Midnight. There are a few things that do carry over into the campaign setting. Mainly Harkon Lucas running and becoming a mayor of a city. He kind of gets involved in it in this novel. He would later in the campaign setting be a mayor of a city, although he really doesn't. He defends his position, which he keeps winning, by the way, just out of pure, I don't like to get beat. Not because he likes the job or he likes any aspects of it or anything like that. Harkon wants to rule and be a real ruler. And this is not really being what he wants. So he just does it out of territorial imperative, I guess. That's basically it. Like I said, I really don't recommend this book. It's very, very boring, and the writing style is hard for me to read. It may not be hard for you to read, but I had a hard time with it. So that's Heart of Midnight. Revenge. The word rings in Casimir's mind. He has laid his plans for a decade, 10 years among the scruffy children, the rats and the fleas of an orphanage. At last, Casimir sets his intricate scheme into motion, seeking glorious revenge upon the man who slew his mother and made him an orphan. But revenge is a merciless master. To slay his nemesis, Casimir summons a dark and powerful curse. And when that terrible curse is summoned, he must confront the greatest foe of all, himself. Heart of Midnight is the fourth in an open-ended series of gothic horror tales dealing with the masters and monsters of the RAVENLOFT dark fantasy setting.